everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this cute little coffee cup and saucer applique piece. Now this is a really easy pattern to draw. Now if you'll notice on this I used 1, 2, 3 different colors. In the example I'm just going to show you one, but you can use as many different colors as you want. For instance, down here I decided to add an extra piece. You can do that if you like, but in this video I'm only going to show it with one. You can also make it with or without the little steam lines here. Okay, let's get started. To make the applique coffee cup, I'm using quilting fabric, just 100% cotton, but I'm also using Pellon two-sided fusible web, and it's called Light Easy Steam 2. So you want to draw an area that is 4 inches this way and 4.5 inches this way. And you can use the lines, the grid lines, on your fusible web. Then down here at the very bottom, you want to go in 1/2 inch and put a little mark, and do the same thing over here. In 1/2 inch, put a little mark. And then 3/4 of an inch up this way, put a mark, and the same thing over here. Then you're going to draw a line from this point up to this point on both sides. For the saucer, you're going to draw 2 lines that are 5.5 inches long. Then you want the 2 lines separated by 3/4 of an inch. Then from 1/2 inch in over this way, put a mark, and 1/2 inch over from this way, put a mark, and then draw up to the corner here. I'm using a circle template that's 2 inches in diameter. Just try to find something that's about this size, that's round. So I'm placing this line on the template right on this blue grid line. And then I'm drawing just halfway around it. And we're drawing the handle. Then I'm going in anywhere from 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, and just drawing another line. I'm just freehand drawing. When you go to cut your pieces out, don't cut on your drawn lines. You want to cut about 1/4 of an inch away, all the way around. Make sure you do it on all of the edges. Here are the fabrics that I'm using. I'm using this multicolored dot fabric for the cup itself. I'm using this fabric for the saucer and the handle. Now this is the front side of the fabric. You want to make sure that you have the back side up, which is the not so pretty side. So here is your blue grid line side, and we want to remove the paper off the back. So turn it over. If you have a hard time getting the paper off, take a straight pin and just score the paper, and then bend it a little bit, lifting a corner up. You want to make sure that the glue is not coming up with this plain paper. Make sure it's still attached to the blue grid line side, and then pull it off. Take the fabric that you're going to put it on and lay it down, and then finger press it down. Then do the same thing with your other 2 pieces on your other fabric. Now you're going to cut right on your drawn lines. This is my background fabric, and it's an 8.5 inch square. And I'm going to remove this blue grid line paper, and this is the first piece that I'm going to put on. And you're going to repeat that step of just tearing the paper, bending it, and removing the paper, making sure that the glue is not coming up off of the fabric. So it should feel tacky and shiny. So I'm just going to lay it down right now. I'm not going to finger press or press down on it at all, because right now I'm just trying to position it. So the next piece I'm going to place on there is the handle and then the saucer. So go ahead and remove the paper off the back of those two pieces. I still haven't pressed them down. I just laid them down and adjusted a little bit. So if you don't like the way it looks, it's off center or you've got things crooked, if you haven't pressed it down, it's still real easy to pick it up and place it down. Now I've set it a little low because at the beginning of the video, I showed you where I had steam coming out of the top. So if you're going to have steam coming out of your mug, then you want to set the coffee cup a little bit lower. Otherwise, if you're not going to do that, bring it up to it's more centered. Once you have everything where you like it, then go ahead and finger press it down. So once you have it in place, ready to go, you're going to go to your ironing board and you're going to fuse it on. Follow package instructions for fusing. You'll need a damp cloth, a hot iron with steam, and you'll need to hold it down. Remember, read your instructions, because if you have a different brand, it might tell you to do things differently. Now you're ready to do your applique stitches. I'm using an open toe presser foot. It's easier to see your stitches, so you keep that center point of your presser foot right on the raw edge so that you can do your stitches. Your stitching order is handle first on both sides. You don't need to do this side. Then it would be your cup itself. So you're going to start down in one of the corners, all the way around and across the other corner. Your last one would be the saucer. You're going to stitch around all four sides. Now I'm using a medium width satin stitch. So the width is about 4.0 and the stitch length is about 0.6. Always test your stitches out to make sure that they are at the proper stitch length and width. So test it out on scrap fabric. Before you begin stitching, make sure you put either tearaway stabilizer or thin paper under your fabric. Now, if you want to use any other stitch than a zigzag stitch, remember you can set it at any width and length that you like. There are other applique stitches that computerized sewing machines have, but for this one I'm going to use that zigzag stitch. Now, if you decided you wanted the steam coming up out of the top, the zigzag stitch that I have is a really narrow zigzag stitch, and I believe the stitch width is probably 2.5 and the length is 0.6. Again, test it out. And all I did was use a fabric marker, a water-soluble fabric marker, and I just freehand drew these little curved lines. And then you would stitch on it right after you did all of these, and before you tear the paper off, you would do your zigzag stitches for the steam. The next step you would have to do is take a 10.5-inch square of fabric for the back of the potholder, and right now you want to have the pretty side of the fabric down, and you're looking at the back of that fabric. Then take two 8.5-inch squares of cotton batting, 100% cotton. Then place your applique piece on top. Use pins to hold all of the layers together. And I just did a really simple quilting stitch pattern. I did something what I call an echo stitch. I went out about anywhere from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch all the way around. So I just, let's say I started here, I'd go out, up, in, come up, come in a little bit, and just kind of loop down around these little steam lines, and then go back around here. And those stitches are necessary to hold all of your fabric together so that it doesn't come apart during the wash cycle or while it's being used. So you're quilting through all 3 layers, and if you look at the back, you can see that same stitch pattern on the back. So on the back, I used green thread in the bobbin case, and on top, I had yellow. So after you've got all of your stitching done, now you're ready to press and fold the edges over. So what you want to do is you're going to do 2 opposite sides. So fold it in towards the raw edge here and press with your iron. Then roll it over and press with your iron again. Now this side's already done, so what I've done is then you're going to start way out here at the raw edge and stitch close to this edge all the way up back out to the other raw edge. So again, you're doing that on opposite sides. Now you're going to do the same thing on your last 2 edges. Fold and press, and then stitch it down. To make a loop so that you can hang the pot holder, take a piece of fabric that's 4.5 inches long by 2 inches wide. At each end, fold it in about 1/4 inch and then press with your iron. Then fold this in half and press. Then bring both side edges into the center and press. Fold it again and press, and then stitch right across here. So I'm going to turn it over to the back, and then in the center I'm going to place the 2 ends like this, and then you can pin them down if you like, and then stitch across here several times. Here's what it looks like when it's all done. Now this is the front, and then this is the back. And I have other applique patterns, so if you're interested in doing other applique patterns, there's going to be links listed down in the description section of this video. So just scroll down to where you see a down arrow or the words show more. Click on that, scroll down, and you'll see links. You'll also see links to other beginner sewing projects. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and make sure you go and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.